Welcome to Ole Walls House. It's me, it's your man, it's your main man, it's Ole Walls, and I am back with you, ladies and gentlemen. 151 times we have done Ole Wall House. Now, it's glad to be back, glad to have you here. So I just want to say, first of all, thank you to everybody. I appreciate your support. I appreciate the listens. I appreciate any feedback I've got. I appreciate it all. So thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. I hope you're enjoying it. So just thank you. As always, before we jump into this, a little housekeeping, if you will. If you guys could, please rate, review, comment, subscribe, and share. Let everybody know Ole Walls House is the place to be. Got another fun show coming. We're talking all sorts of football. We got basketball. We got hockey. We got my passing thoughts. So all good stuff coming. So without any further ado, let's go dive into this thing. NFL Week 12. All but in the books. We got a Monday night game between the Ravens and the Charger. We got a hard bowl coming our way. I was actually, would want to do an addendum for this one, but just not going to work with the schedule here. So, unfortunately, we won't get that. I got some other prior commitments I need to clear up. So, why don't we just dive in? The Green Bay Packers move to 8-3 with a victory over the San Francisco 49ers. A nice win for them, a beat-up 49ers team. But, hey, wins are wins. It keeps them firmly in the playoff, race, which is helpful because the Vikings and the Lions just continue to win, So the Packers just have to keep pace, leave an outside chance at maybe stealing that division again, outside chance, but. A win's a win, and the Packers did some good things. That dreaded first drive came out and got a score on it this time after having to get the ball first. Excuse me. And there was the dreaded first drive penalty that backs them up when they get into the red zone, but they ended up getting a touchdown out of it. They completely dominated the first quarter. I believe the 49ers may have only run 3 plays. They might have gotten two possessions in the first quarter. Packers dominated 12 minutes of total possession to 3 in just that quarter. Just absolutely dominated the first quarter. 10-7. They only get a field goal out of the second time. But, hey, all in all, a win's a win. And the Packers do that without a turnover this week, which is nice. All in all, it was pretty good. Penalties, only 5 penalties. The 49ers were just a penalty machine, ended up with 9 penalties for 77 yards. Packers only allowed 2 sacks. They only got home twice themselves, but hey, no fumbles lost, no interceptions thrown. Jordan Love was trying. He tried to fumble it a couple times, and he tried to throw it away and throw it to the other team a couple times, but this was a story of Josh Jacobs again. I mean, Josh Jacobs was the bell cow for the Packers. He ends up with 29 carries, 106 yards, 3 touchdowns. He set the tone early, ripped out a 20-yarder almost right out of the gate. And, it was just good thing. It was the second play when he did that. So just more good things from Josh Jacobs. And our former guy, Aaron Jones, fumbled on the goal line for the Vikings. They were able to pull out a victory, and we'll get to them later. But it wasn't a game that was perfect by any stretch of the imagination. It felt like when the 49ers scored late in the second quarter, made it 17-7. It was like, oh God, here comes some screwy thing the Packers are going to do. These guys might even get a shot at a field goal, and then they're gonna get the ball coming out of half, and then all of a sudden we got ourselves a football game. Luckily, that didn't happen. It didn't help that Christian Watson dropped a walk into the end zone touchdown pass, and just right off his hands. It was like that first play of his career all over again. It was just like, oh no, not again. Don't show me this. Yeah, I mean, that was 60 yards walking into the end zone. Whew, oofta, that would have been bad. Another couple, just a quietly nice little game. Tucker Kraft, he caught that little tight end screen for one of his catches that was a touchdown. He only caught one other ball. Romeo Dobbs and Jaden Regis with 3 catches. And then Malik Heath, who caught a touchdown pass, also had a couple catches. But yeah, I mean, it got weird a little bit. It felt like in the second half, it felt like they were bringing it back. I mean, the time of possession ended up at 36-23, and like I said, it was 12-3 after the first quarter. So for the remaining rest of the game, it was 24-20 time of possession, and it felt like coming out of the break, some weird things were happening. But there he was. X going to give it to you. Comes up with a big pick, middle of the third, 5:49, his 7th of the year. 7th. And that was after the 49ers returned to kick all the way down to the 10, Deebo Samuel did. But luckily, a holding on the 49ers brought it back. And then the 49ers fumbled a couple of times in the fourth quarter to just let the air out of whatever they had going, and Packers tacked on a couple of touchdowns late to spread this out, to make it seem like it was a bigger blowout than it was. The 49ers were around, but not around. It was weird. It felt like coming out after the first quarter, it felt like that was the complete domination, but then you're like, it was only 10-0 after that complete domination. But hey, a win's a win. The Packers move on, and it's good to put wins in the win column, especially like I've said, with what's coming up. The Dolphins, who just continue to win, are next up Thursday night, Thanksgiving night. They've been on a little stretch themselves. What have they won? They've won 3 in a row. I think 2 has been back for 4 games. I mean, they were 2-6 not long ago. Now they're 5-6. I think they're right in the hunt. Yeah, they're the first team out in the AFC playoff race. A lot of work to do. The Broncos are the last team in at 7-5, but I mean, they're fighting for their season, and they're gonna bring it. I'm happy that game's in Green Bay on Thursday night. It's gonna be cold up in Green Bay. I'd have to imagine it's gonna be a cold stretch coming across the upper Midwest here. But yeah, then it's at the Lions, at the Seahawks. The next 2 games, another Thursday night game at the Lions. Then it's Sunday night at the Seahawks. Seattle's a tough place to play. I mean, nobody needs to repeat that too often to remember it. You get the Saints in there. That's a Monday night game. So, 4 straight primetime games for the Packers as well. Eyes of the league are going to be on them, eyes of the public, everything. It'll be interesting to see how this goes. The Saints might be the one little reprieve in there. Who knows, though, what you're going to get out of the Saints. Their team, they've won a couple of games in a row. There's not really a whole lot of playoff hope for them. I think they are buried. Yeah, they're 12th. They're well outside the playoff race, really. But, they're fighting for their life. They're thinking of, hey, if we can reel off, 5 wins at the end of the year, 6 wins, finish 9-8, 10-7 maybe, try and do something stupid. You never know. And then you got to go to Minnesota, and then you got the Bears again. The Bears are going to play you tough, and the Vikings are good. So the Packers got to keep their head on a swivel, run the fucking football. That seems to be the method of success for this team, is to run the ball. If you run the ball, be smart with the football. Jordan Love can't have interceptions. I think this was his first game all year without an interception. So, hey, there's steps. We're moving in the right direction. Unfortunately, it felt like there were a couple balls that should have been picked that weren't, and we got a little lucky. So let's spin around the rest of the league. Thursday night in an absolute wonderful scene. Snowstorms all over. The Browns take down the Steelers right after the Steelers coming off a big win over the Ravens, kind of a letdown game maybe. Jameis Winston just completely unhinged in his pregame interviews, just not answering any question whatsoever. He's laughing his ass off the whole time too. It feels like he's almost like trolling us by doing it. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? The Vikings sneak by the Bears. That game was over, it felt like, and then the Bears made it a game again, scored 17 fourth quarter points. It was 27-10 going into the fourth quarter after an Aaron Jones touchdown late in the third quarter, and then 2 touchdowns and then a field goal to tie it at the end of the game for the Bears. Really ruined a Minnesota cover that looked pretty safe when it got to be 24-10. I mean, come on, 24-10, we can't bring that home. Even 27-16, we got to give up, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and then the field goal, all that. And they end up pushing, but a win A win would have been nice. I can never put my hat on straight when I do these. I always get turned around. So, yeah, I mean, oh, well. A couple of interesting losses here. The Texans and the Commanders both lose to the Cowboys and Titans, respectively. Commanders to the Cowboys, Titans to the Texans. And these are a couple of teams who are sliding a bit. I mean, the Commanders are now lost 3 in a row. 3 in a row for the Commanders. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. Who do the Commanders got next week? Are they off? Yeah, they're off. They had the last bye week of the year, so they're off. So they come back. When the hell do they come back? Why can't I find them? I can find them in week 15. Am I missing? Am I stupid? It's a very strong problem. No, they play next week. I'm an idiot. They play the Titans next week. So there's their chance to bounce back. They've lost 3 in a row. They're 7-5 now. They're in the thick of it in the NFC playoff race. You've got the Bucs, the Cardinals, the Rams, the 49ers, all at 6-5 and 5-6. You lose another game or two for the Commanders, and then, oh mama, I'm in fear for my life on the line. Why is it telling me? Oh, okay, that one's not updated. Gotcha. Whatever. Okay, sorry, I'm rambling. The Titans and the Texans are in the same boat. Like, they've been kind of hemorrhaging a little bit themselves, it feels like. What are they? They won last week, but, they're 7-5. I think, what'd they do the week before? They beat the Cowboys. They'd lost to the Lions. They'd lost to the Jets. They just snuck by the Colts. They'd lost to the Packers. So, 1, 2, 1 and 3. They're 2-4 in their last 6. So not ideal for them either. 2-4 in their last 6. They were 5-1 not long ago. So just a couple of things to keep an eye on there. The Chiefs just continue to win one possession games. Pat Mahomes is never out of it till he's out of it. And the Panthers weren't out of it. They made that a game. Just really impressive by the Panthers to hang around. The Chiefs, it's like, how long can they do this? I feel like I'm starting to say this every week. How long can the Chiefs continually put themselves in one possession games and just keep coming out on top? It doesn't seem sustainable. They've got the Raiders on Black Friday here, the Friday afternoon game. You would think they'd be able to handle business there, but God knows, that's probably going to be a one possession game. You never know. After that, they've got the Chargers on Sunday Night Football. That's a serious test. Like, the Chargers going into Arrowhead on Sunday night, that's going to be a fun game to keep an eye on. That's going to be a real fun game to keep an eye on. What do they have the rest of the way after that? Chiefs. Then they go to the Browns, so not the biggest test there. Then they have the Texans. Who knows what we're going to be seeing out of the Texans on them. And then I think they play Christmas Day, right? Yep, they play at the Steelers. So, that's going to be a test. So, it'll be interesting how they finish out the year, and then they go to the Broncos, who've been an interesting team this year. An interesting team. The Buccaneers lay it to the Giants. Daniel Jones let go earlier this week after they benched him. Tommy DeVito did not have much luck. The Patriots get just thunderfucked by the Dolphins. Like I said, the Dolphins playing some good ball. Back with Tua, they've got that offense kind of rolling again. They scored 34 points. What was Tua's stat line here? I think it was pretty nice. Yeah, 29 of 40, 317, 4 TDs. Jalen Waddle, 8 receptions for 144 yards. So, yeah, they've got things going. The Lions, talk about a team that has things going. They're just rolling, man. They're rolling. Broncos, Raiders. Broncos beat the Raiders 29-19, and a team I can't figure out. Every time I think the Broncos are going to get a little roll going, they don't. But maybe they're just going to beat the bad teams. But right now, they're in the playoffs. They've got, like I said, a game and a half lead or so, whatever you want to call it, over the Dolphins. So, they're in good shape. They're in good shape. Got to keep winning. Seahawks Cardinals out in the NFC West, and every game is essentially for the division right now as that division stands. The Seahawks now lead the division via a tiebreaker over the Cardinals, who are 6-5, and then the Rams are 5-6, and so are the 49ers. So every time those guys play each other, like, the division is on the line. We talked Packers. Eagles. The Eagles are rolling too. Like, there are some teams playing some good ball, and the Eagles are one of them. Saquon Barkley is making a statement, and he's saying, "You give me somebody to run behind, I'm going to run well." And he's working himself into contention for MVP, you'd have to think. 26 carries, 255 yards, another 47 yards through the air. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys can do math, but that's 302 all-purpose yards on 30 touches of the football, essentially 10 yards a touch. Man, if you got a weapon like that and you can use him, whoo, mama. The Eagles, a team I, at the start of the year, said they're in disarray. This isn't a team that's going to win the division. It's going to be the Cowboys division. Oh, man, how wrong was I? MJ tried to tell me. I wouldn't listen, but the Eagles. Ravens Chargers tonight. Harbaugh. That's going to be fun. Let's look forward. We have our Thursday Thanksgiving Day matchups. Lions Bears early. Bears might be in for it. The Lions fans are going to have a fun day on Thanksgiving. I think this is the first time ever in their history that they have back-to-back 2-win seasons. I did take a picture of this. I remember doing it. Yes, Lions have hit double-digit wins in consecutive seasons for the first time in the 95-year history of the franchise, and they got there with 6 games to go after winning 12 last year. So it's going to be a fun day in Detroit, I think, on Thanksgiving. Whatever that line is, it might not be enough. If it's less than like 12, I'm not getting it. If it's single digits, I think I'm on the Lions there. See if they have anything out just yet for us. They usually don't. Well, it's 11. It's just outside what I want. Maybe it'll be a Thanksgiving thankful teaser. Cowboys, Giants, Cooper Rush, and Tommy DeVito. That's going to be a great A matchup there. Packers, Dolphins should be fun. We mentioned Raiders, Chiefs, Texans, Jags. Seems like a game the Texans can get right on. Seahawks, Jets, Colts, Patriots, not too interested. Titans, Commanders. Again, the Commanders got to bounce back. Steelers heading to the Bengals Sunday afternoon. Best game of the early window by far. What are the Bengals going to do? They're coming off a bye. Steelers coming off a loss and, the mini bye. It should be two pretty well-prepared teams there. See what they can give us. Cardinals, Vikings. Cardinals, again, fighting for their lives out there in that NFC West. As of right now, if you look at the playoff picture, and I'll share this with you guys. This will be our weekly share. As of right now, you got this is the bottom half. We'll start at the top. You got Lions, Eagles. They're locked in. Falcons, Seahawks are wild. Then you have the rest of the NFC North here, and the Packers and Vikings and the Commanders. So, I mean, you're talking Cardinals, Rams, 49ers. They're all fighting for their lives to try and keep up in the division that I mentioned over here on the AFC side. Dolphins, I mean, maybe an outside shot with the Bengals here. They got to start picking up some wins. That's why that Steeler game's a big deal. Colts, it doesn't seem like the Colts have the horsepower. So, I don't think the Ravens fall apart. I don't think the Chargers fall apart. So it feels like it's a Dolphins-Broncos race for this final slot in the AFC. But I think they said something like a quarter of the teams in playoff position, I heard Sky Hansen say, did not end up making the divisional round last year. So you never know. But it's always an interesting proposition. But let's go back to what we got coming this week. Rams, Saints. Again, Rams need it. Cardinals need it. Bucks, Panthers. Bucks should be able to get something done there. I mean, they're trailing the Falcons, so they got to keep winning. Where are the Falcons at? Who are the Falcons playing this week? Did I miss them? Are they off? No, they got the Chargers. So, I mean, that's a good setup for the Bucks. Falcons gotta take on the Chargers. Granted, it'll be a little bit of a short week, but they got to take them on, and the Bucks should be able to get by the Panthers. But the Panthers are feisty. And then probably the game, I mean, there's 2 good games closing out the week. But Sunday afternoon, Eagles-Ravens, that's my game of the week. That's just big hoss football. They're both trying to run it down your throat. Eagles got, they both got, weapons up top and take top off the defense and let it fly a little bit. But that feels like a game they're going to try and win in the trenches. Then 49ers Bills. Is Brock Purdy going to be back? What are they going to have? The 49ers are beat up, and the Bills are sitting there waiting for them just to decleat them, if you will, just to decleat them. So, okay, that's pretty good for NFL this week. We got another fun week coming. I'm excited. I love me some football. College football now. Penn State squeaks one out. Fell down 10-0. End up fighting back into this game and just barely squeak one out. And call of the day might have been a fake punt in the fourth quarter for Penn State to seal it, but Penn State wins. Did what they had to, and win and move on. And Penn State will have a game this coming Saturday hosting Maryland, a not very good Maryland team. Many people are saying Minnesota was the best 5-6 team in the country. Where just do better. But Penn State beat Maryland, and you're in the playoffs. So, a wild week here in college football that we just had. Miami, big win. Ohio State, big win. Took down Indiana. Indiana came out and actually scored first in that game, and then it was a lot of Ohio State after that. It was 28-7. Some special teams missteps didn't help. I think it got up to as much as like 35 or no, what did it get to? It was 28. 31-7. There was a touchdown late for Indiana. Then didn't somebody kneel on it? There was something funky that happened at the end of that game. I forget though, but the carnage came in the SEC. Ole Miss goes down to Florida. That knocks them back to 3 losses. That essentially, I think, knocks them out of the playoff. And then Texas A&M, who kind of had a little bit of an outside track themselves, they go down in quadruple overtime to Auburn. And then Alabama gets boat raced by Oklahoma, just smacked around 24-3. So Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Alabama all go down in the SEC, which actually kind of paves the way for a Texas. I think Texas is in with a win. I don't exactly know. There's so much going on. There's so many 2-loss and 3-loss teams. Texas is the sole 1-loss team in the SEC. Georgia, Tennessee, Texas A&M all have 2 losses now. So I don't know what any of that means. I think as of now, the SEC title game, should both teams win this week, is Georgia and Texas. So Alabama 3 losses, Ole Miss 3 losses, sayonara. Tennessee, I don't know what their prospects are. Who do they play in the final week? They play at Vanderbilt, so they should be able to win that. Ohio State, Michigan this week. South Carolina, Clemson. A game that looks good on paper, but I think means a lot for. I don't think it means much because Clemson, I think, is already wrapped up its berth in the ACC title game. Or no, how does Miami? Did they play Miami? Who played Miami? It's so hard to keep track of these goddamn conferences. They're so big. There's so many teams. Let's see. South Carolina, Clemson. Did Clemson and Miami play? I don't think they did. They didn't. Of course they didn't. Tough game this week for Clemson. Citadel. Fucking losers. But SMU won. They're in the ACC title game. So it's crazy. And I looked up a projected. This is a total projection of what the playoff bracket's going to look like. And this is from CBS Sports. They have, assuming Ohio State and Oregon play in the Big Ten title game, they have Ohio State beating Oregon in their rematch. So they would take the number 1 overall seed in the college football playoff. So I think either way, whoever wins that Ohio State-Oregon game is going to be the number 1 team. So Ohio State or Oregon, whoever you view going there. This bracket has Georgia as the 2 seed. Courtesy of Texas A&M's loss at Auburn, Georgia waltzes in the SEC championship game for the 4th consecutive season under Cruz. Okay, so they're in. The Bulldogs play Georgia Tech next week before taking on the winner of Texas A&M, and Atlanta. They have them winning that game and going on to be the 2 seed. SMU is the 3 seed here. SMU has already clinched a spot in the ACC championship game next month in Charles, but this Mustangs do need to beat Cal in Week 14 to be in good standing. I agree. A probable SMU-Miami matchup for the league title will be a competitive showdown. Boise State in as the Group of 5 champion, the highest ranked, the 4 highest ranked conference championship conference championship winners will be the top 4 seeds. And as of right now, with the way things have gone down with BYU, who Arizona took down this weekend, like a little early field rush from the crowd there. So that'll give Boise the bye. So now what we're looking at is the first round games. So they have Oregon and Arizona State as the 5-12 matchup, with the winner to then play Boise State. Expecting Big Ten championship runner-up to go to number 5 seed as the highest ranked non-league winner. That makes sense. Arizona State would be the Big 12's representative if they are able to pull that out. That's how they're envisioning this. So that would mean Arizona State traveling to Eugene to play that game. Where we go? So Arizona State and Iowa State are set to meet as of now if they both handle their business. Then we get Texas and Miami in the 6-11 slot with the winner to play SMU. Texas gets a first-round home game if the Longhorns beat Texas A&M but fall to Georgia in the SEC championship. They would be hosting another 11-win team with 11-win team Miami and Texas native Cam Howard. So that they're saying that Miami gets in at 11-1 without getting in the ACC title game, and that Clemson would be knocked out by SMU. Interesting. So they're now projecting 2 ACC teams to make it. A little help from the SEC kind of carnage this weekend. Notre Dame, the 7th seed, to play Tennessee. Again, another team that's going to sneak in by virtue of not playing in the championship game and just kind of getting their way in. And then Penn State hosting Indiana as the 8-9 matchup with the winner to play Ohio State. It would be interesting to see what the committee does in how they rank teams. You know, in the college basketball March Madness bracket, they try and keep teams who have played each other or who are conference foes away from each other in, both first and second round matchups. They kind of say whatever happens after that, the chips fall where they fall. I believe there's been statements that the committee's not worried about rematches. They're not worried about conference affiliation. So you could see, back-to-back Big Ten games in this scenario with Penn State as the 8 seed and Indiana as the 9 seed. This would be a game in Happy Valley. I'll tell you what, this is a great first-round set for Penn State. I think Indiana showed they're not of the same caliber as the top, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams in the country. I think Penn State's clearly a better team. I mean, if I'm looking at the rest of these matchups, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Texas or Miami, depending on where the chips fall, no thanks. I wouldn't play Oregon and Ohio State, but Arizona State, maybe I wouldn't mind that. But, of those teams, Indiana's about the best matchup for them. So, just play this out, how this bracket's up. You have 8-9. Penn State wins that one, I think. Notre Dame. So then Penn State plays Ohio State in the second round. Then you have Notre Dame, Tennessee. I would lean Tennessee there. That gets you Tennessee, Georgia in the second round. Then you have Texas, Miami. What's funny is that if Miami were to pull this upset, I would favor Texas here myself. But if Miami were to pull this upset, you would get Miami, SMU. So that would mean 3 conference matchups in the second, and then Oregon and Arizona State. Figure Oregon wins that one. They would play Boise State. So you could see 3 conference matchups in the second round based on the scenario. We'll find out more Tuesday night when everything comes out. But very, very interesting, nonetheless, how this all settles out. Let me dive back in and just take a look at this week's matchups again. Boise State, Oregon State, Colorado, Oklahoma State. Colorado went down, kind of fell out of the race themselves. Michigan and Ohio State. Can Ohio State get back on top in the big game? Clemson, South Carolina. Nice matchup. I don't know what implications, if any, it has. SMU has to beat Cal. A couple of ACC teams there, SMU. Texas and California in the ACC, everybody. Welcome to college sports in 2024. Notre Dame, USC. Can USC play spoiler to Notre Dame? That's a game they have to win. Texas A&M looks to play spoiler against Texas. So, that's the big one there. Oregon's got to get it done with Washington. So, yeah, interesting. I mean, it's all going to be very interested to see how all this shakes out. The college football playoffs. It'll be fun. Big Meech does it again. Big Meech, overtime winner. Matvey Michkov stays warm, stays hot. Scores the game-winning goal in the matchup with the Blackhawks on Saturday. Flyers bring home the win. Had a rough loss on Wednesday night on national television against the Hurricanes, but hey, split the week, got 2 points out of the week. Full week coming for them. They got the Golden Knights coming into town tonight here shortly. Golden Knights, solid team leading the Pacific Division. But from there, it opens up. They then head to Nashville on the day before Thanksgiving. Black Friday, they got a noon game against the Rangers, and they head to St. Louis on the Saturday after that as well. So 4 games this week. And like I said, the Blues, not very good. 9-12-1. So, similar predicament. The Preds, 7-11-3. And then the Rangers only are pretty good. They're 12-6-1. Tough division the Flyers are in this year. I mean, the Devils are playing good hockey. The Hurricanes, the Caps, and the Rangers. So they're going to have to do a lot to keep pace. They're at 20 points. 25 is, still outside the playoff race in the division. Looks like, what do we got? So then we got 2 teams outside. We got 25 and then 23. So 3 points back of the last wild card spot at the moment. So the Flyers can get a little something going, a couple real winnable games here, and do something a little crazy. Get Big Meech hot. Let him in there. Let him loose. Let him loose. After a horrendous start, they're battling. They're battling. Big Meech is showing all sorts of promise. So we like that. Carolina basketball. We don't play till late tonight. 10:30 tip-off my time, so that's 11:30 for those of you on the East Coast out in Maui. Again, they were playing Dayton, and then we'll play the winner of Auburn and Iowa State. If they were to, which way do you win and go? Yeah, if you win and go right, they wouldn't play till 10 p.m. God, nothing like keeping Carolina buried in the late games. They wouldn't play till 10 p.m. on Tuesday. And then Wednesday would be the championship game at 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. my time. So UConn is up on the top half of the bracket with Colorado and Michigan State. So some late ones there, but that is the breaks when you play in Maui. Just kind of the way it goes. But Carolina brought home a dub on Friday over I'm sure what was a daunting Hawaii team. Got another game in while they were out there. 18 from R.J. Davis, 17 from Elliot Cadeau. Nice. Ian Jackson off the bench with 11. Cade Tyson off the bench with 9 and 15 minutes. Not bad. 13 from Seth Trimble. He's going to have to be a guy who scores. Jalen Withers, only 2 points. Didn't see this game. Again, this was on late. It'd be nice if Carolina played a game against a decent team at a decent time of day. But, that's what's happening. What else? I saw something else in college basketball that I thought was interesting here this past week. Kennesaw State beat Rutgers. Wisconsin was playing. What were they playing in? Like a tip-off tournament at in Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. That's the Greenbrier. Looked like they were playing in a high school gymnasium. It really did. It was odd looking. They beat UCF. I wonder if they won that, because then they didn't play again for a couple days, and they beat Pittsburgh. It must have just been a little thing. Auburn, Iowa State tonight at 9 o'clock on the East Coast for you folks. That should be a fun one. 4-5 matchup. That's a good one. Anything else? We got Houston, Alabama on Tuesday. Duke, Kansas. Nice preseason schedule from Kansas this year. That should be a good one. Is that in Kansas, or is that is in Kansas? How did Kansas pull that off? They play Duke and Carolina at home in the same year. Houston, Alabama on Tuesday as well. That's a 7-8 matchup. So we got some good college basketball coming our way here Texas A&M, Creighton, the day before Thanksgiving, Rutgers, Alabama. Marquette playing a tough team in Stonehill. What is Stonehill? Stonehill University. Where is that? Is it Stonehill University? Is it Stonehill College? The Stonehill Skyhawks men's basketball team. They were previously known as the Stonehill Chieftains. They represent Stonehill College in Easton, Massachusetts. Oh, interesting. How about it? Okay, let's keep rolling. Time for some passing thoughts. As you can see, I'm back in the studio. I'm back. I'm back in my basement. I've made it to my basement. I have made some strides post surgery and recovery. I'm walking again, albeit not quickly. Just in the last day or two, I've kind of ditched the single crutch. I'd been going. This was about a little under 2 weeks ago. I was cleared to put weight on my left leg. After my surgery, I was at first walking with 2 crutches and just kind of using them, which made it feel so much better. Then in the last week, I started to go down to 1 crutch. Turns out I was using it on the wrong side. I just instinctively was like, oh, it's my left leg. I need to put the crutch under my left arm and use it that way. I was wrong. I was corrected at my PT appointment. If you use it under your right, it kind of counterbalances essentially, and that made a lot of difference. And was able to use the 1 crutch to start walking around and free up a hand, which was a godsend. And then in the last couple days, I've been able to start taking some steps without a crutch at all. It's been nice. I got down the stairs. That was incredible. I don't know. Maybe I should slow down, but it's been nice. The progressions have been nice. The pain has been minimal for a long time. I'm starting to do more things at physical therapy. The long road is still long ahead of me, but a lot of ground has been traversed since I've been opened up. Was able to go out to dinner with the roommate. Went to got myself a nice steak, covered in some beautiful, beautiful things such as a mixture of crab, shrimp, lobster, and rolled up into some buttery breadcrumbs and creased across the top of it. Just it was delicious, just absolutely delicious. Went out to a bar over the weekend. Did Thanksgiving with the in-laws, and was able to go out and just go out to a bar, experience the world, play some dumb bar gambling games. Try and drop the quarter and push the quarters off the edge. Unsuccessfully, but hey, gave it a whirl. Hit up the pull tabs. Did the shake of the day. Just was out in the world, out with the people. It was great. It was just absolutely great. I love when I make notes and I don't expand on them for what I want to talk about. I wrote sneezes are weird. Okay. I just sneezed, I think, if I'm remembering back to the moment this happened. I sneezed and I was like, God, just the thought of a sneeze is a weird thing. What makes it happen? I'm sure that you can look this up and there's all sorts of explanations, but it makes no sense that just a sneeze, you just sneeze and your body just completely loses all control for a couple seconds. I mean, shit, you sneeze when you drive, you're like, what the? You're like, Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus, take it. Yeah, sneezes are weird. I also wrote, and I have no recollection of what made me notice this, but I just wrote, it's so hard to take British people talking shit seriously. I must have seen the highlight of a fight or something, like a post-fight interview. I agree. Don't get me wrong. It is very hard to take British people talking shit seriously. I agree 100% wholeheartedly. I saw an interesting tweet, and this maybe I should have talked about in football, but whatever. I'm talking about it now. Danny Ruier at Funny Danny on Twitter, a Washington, D.C. sports talk guy. Embarrassing headline. Embarrassing from ESPN. Not embarrassing headline. Quote, embarrassing from ESPN. Eli Manning headlines the class. In no world was he a better player than Suggs, Kuechly, Yanda, Earl Thomas, Joe Staley, or guys like Torrey Holt, Antonio Gates, Reggie Wayne, who didn't get in before. The campaigning for a guy with a worse QBR than Daniel Jones. He goes on to say in another tweet, we all know he's going to get in because he played in New York and the team won 2 Super Bowls, but good heavens. Okay, that's a take. I remember I remember this has come up before when as Eli Manning has approached his inevitable entry into the NFL Hall of Fame, that we're going to act like the year they beat the Patriots the second time they went to the Super Bowl, he had an absolutely in fuego run. His wins above replacement was absolutely crazy, or whatever that stat was. So that was 2012? Yeah, the 2012 Giants, I think, was that year. Anyway, he threw for just shy of 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. He was always a high interception guy. I mean, the year before, he threw for almost 5,000 yards. I mean, he threw for over 4,000 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years with, more than 25 touchdowns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years as well. I mean, granted, he always threw a lot of interceptions. That was just what you were going to get out of him. And the year they won the Super Bowl, I mean, he's a 2-time Super Bowl MVP. He balled out in both of them. The year they beat the undefeated Patriots, it's remembered for the Tyree catch, but the play Eli made to get to the point where he's able to throw the ball to Tyree was absurd as well. I'm just not here for the Eli slander. Is he the greatest quarterback ever? No, but he was a big game quarterback, and he showed up. He showed up when when it came down to it. So I'm not here for the Eli slander. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback without a doubt. He's going to headline the class. He was one of the most popular guys there. I'm not here for the slander. Quick other football one. Russell Wilson has the most touchdown passes in the season by a Steelers QB since Ben Roethlisberger retired. He's only played 5 games for Pittsburgh. I don't know the total validity of that, but I saw it. Pizza Hut pizza, still good. Got some Pizza Hut pizza. I tried to get the triple treat box, which was 2 medium pizzas, a thing of breadsticks, and a set of cinnamon sticks. They were out of it, so I just had to settle for a large pizza, and I guess I could have got all that stuff. I just didn't. I just ended up with the pizza and the breadsticks. I fucking love Pizza Hut pizza. I'm on the record that Midwest pizza kind of stinks, but Pizza Hut pizza, when you got to break down to that, not too bad. I love the crust. Also, when you go to order online, they default to not their pan crust. It's a hand tossed instead. It's why are you cheating people? Of the best part about your pizza is that crust. And come on, don't do that. Also, I got some of this stuff from the Tailgate Foodie, the White Lightning Alabama white barbecue sauce. That's delicious. If you haven't checked out the Tailgate Foodie, that guy is great. Love this stuff. His All-American barbecue sauce as well is really great. It kind of blends all the different kinds of barbecue sauce. Your Kansas, your Texas, your Carolina. Just really, really good. Different flavor than typical. What else we got? I got a couple other things here. This picture. I thought this picture was really interesting. This was a picture. I don't know why this popped up on my Twitter. It was a picture of JFK campaigning in the hills of West Virginia in 1960, it says. Who knows if that's really when it was, but if it was, it makes sense. Campaigning on his presidential campaign. But it's just shocking. You look at the picture and, you see, it's obviously this is from the 60s, so 64 years ago. But just nothing, just the how far, and shit, there's probably plenty of spots in West Virginia and different parts of Appalachia and God knows where out in the boonies of the West where you can get scenes like that. But it's amazing how far things have come in 60 years. Places like that probably even have running water. And I guess we'll end with this. Watched Out Cold. Heard Islands in the Sun by Weezer. I was like, this song always makes me think of Out Cold. And the roommate had never seen Out Cold. And I was like, I used to love that movie. Came out in 2001. I loved that movie when I was a kid. For whatever reason, it was always on some channel. I was like, I wonder if it still holds up. We got some digital rewards points from Amazon. If you guys don't get them when you're getting on Amazon, you're doing something wrong. You can just delay your stuff arriving by a day, and you'll get $2 in digital rewards. So I was able to get this movie for free. I think it's $2-3 on Amazon. It's got a pretty crazy cast of people in it. Zach Galifianakis is in it as a young, not even that fat Zach Galifianakis. Jason London, who I always like, it always felt like he was supposed to be a bigger deal than he ended up turning out to be. David Koechner, you may know from The Office. Who else? David Denman, who's in The Office, also in The Replacements. I was listening to The Replacements Rewatchables pod, so he's in it. You know, he's Roy on The Replacements. He's in it. A number of other people that I remember seeing in the who else do we got that was. Oh, the roommate knew somebody from a TV show in there. Oh, hell, I forget. Lee Majors is in it. Will Garrison, he plays one of the guys, but what else is he in? That he's in a bunch of stuff. Oh gosh, let me see. I can probably find it here. Either way, Out Cold holds up. Still a funny movie. Oh yeah, he's Leonard Spinelli in Boy Meets World. It's one of those things. He had a little run on NYPD Blue. But Jason London, I wanted to do this. I don't know, was he in like all the Mallrats movies and stuff like that? Was he? Maybe not. Maybe I'm just imagining that. I'm imagining that. I always thought he was in like Mallrats or something like that. Or Dogma. No, guess not. He was in The Rage Carrie 2. Bet you that was a good movie. Alien Cargo. That was a television movie. Oh, well. Well, my main point of this is Out Cold. It holds up. The Out Cold soundtrack was fantastic. It starts out with Anytime by Eve 6. Sent me on a real Eve 6 kick. Let me see if I can find the soundtrack. See all the greats. It was just, yeah, Anytime by Eve 6. Makes No Difference by Sum 41. Some Andrew WK, some Lit, just Jimmy Eat World, just all time like early 2000 stuff. So, all right, check out Cold. It's fun. Let's go wrap this up. Closing time, everybody. Just want to say thank you as always. I appreciate you. I appreciate the support. So thank you. As always, thank you, producer Kevy, for showing me how to do all this video stuff. Much appreciated. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving week. Thanksgiving is the best holiday. Gave some Thanksgiving thoughts over on the Full Range pod with MJ. I was finally asked to appear by MJ. I thought I was never going to catch that invite. But no, go check out MJ. Did a Thanksgiving pod ranking Thanksgiving food items and meals and things of that. I was on that with Big Pat Bill Gardner, MJ and Jordan Clark. So go check that out. I tried another installment of writing on Substack. Give that a try. You can find that on my socials. You can get to it. But yeah, back next week. More football. Thanksgiving. Basketball. Like I said, Carolina's out in Maui. We'll have some thoughts from that. Hockey. Big week for the Flyers. A lot of good stuff. So till then, peace.